So once you finish all your squares, do you find you get stuck on how to put them all together? Getting your layout to flow isn't always easy, but with a few simple tips, you can turn a scattered mix of squares into a cohesive, eye-catching design. Sometimes placement can make all the difference. Hi, I'm Jane, and today we're zooming out to look at the big picture and see how our color choices affect the overall project. We've explored palettes, mood, repetition, geometry, and all the ways color can shape your design. And now it's time to step back and see how all those choices work together. In this last video of the series, we're talking layout, placement, and how to see your project as a whole. Let's wrap it all up and bring your squares to life. If you'd like to follow along with this series and get the free daily downloads, just sign up below. Each day, I'll send you a link to the next video in the series, along with a little freebie that includes a recap of the day's tips. Perfect for building your own color workbook as we go. Sometimes I plan ahead when making my projects and deciding color placements for a blanket before I start my first square, but most of the time I just wing it. But I always consider how the placement of color works in the overall project, no matter what stage I'm at, and it does change as I work on the project. Placement can completely change the look, feel, and story of your blanket or whatever it is you're making. Think of your squares as puzzle pieces. How you put them together creates the final picture, and there's not one way to do it. It depends on what you're looking for. There are many ways that these can come together. You might want to group light colors together to create a soft blended effect, or break them up to add energy and movement. You could create a grid or checkerboard pattern for a structured rhythmic design. In my patchwork blanket, for example, I bordered every second square with beige instead of dark blue. When I arranged those in a grid pattern, the beige bordered squares popped against the blue ones, and that added an extra layer of depth to the design and gave it interest and balance. Remember, placement isn't just a practical step. It's a creative choice that shapes your project's mood and message. Taking time to experiment with how your squares interact will help you find the arrangement that feels just right for your story. I'll often experiment with placements as I make the squares, and then I'll continue to make squares according to what I will need next. And yeah, some of them don't make the cut, and some of them get ripped out. Most of the time I try to balance the amount I use my colors so that I can place them fairly randomly and still get a nice effect. But if I have a favorite color or I'm going for a certain effect, I may use more of one color than another, including if I'm using that color to join them. I take this into consideration and I create the pattern accordingly. So sometimes if I'm joining with a specific color, I won't make any of the outside borders of the square that color, but then again, sometimes I do. One thing to remember is that layout doesn't have to wait until the end. You can start playing with it as you go. Laying out your squares midway gives you a chance to shift a color, adjust the placement, or even change the whole mood of your design. Take notice of your repeating elements and start looking for any geometric shapes that might be forming. Sometimes I don't even see those details until I start moving the squares around and seeing how they interact with each other. And then I think, hey, that's a cool idea I didn't plan for. That's one of the reasons I love making pillow tops. They're like a mini swatch for a bigger project and such a fun way to test things out. Just keep checking in with everything we've talked about. Contrast, mood, repetition, balance. Let your instincts guide you. At some point, it'll click, and from there on, it's smooth, relaxing crochet all the way. Here's your color challenge for today. Once you have some of your squares ready, lay them out in different ways. Try grouping similar colors, scattering them around, or creating a pattern like a grid. See how each arrangement changes the feel of your project. Say you have a flower and you think that maybe every square has that flower might be too busy. So then make a grid work out of those flowers. Use every second square instead. Snap some photos of your favorites and keep playing with placement until it feels right for you. And that's a wrap on our 7-day color play adventure. I hope the series has sparked new ideas, built your color confidence, and reminded you just how much fun it is to experiment. Whether you're planning every stitch or playing as you go, there's no right or wrong, just your story, told in color. Thanks for following along all week, and I hope all these tips on color help you look at your projects in a whole new way. Keep exploring, keep making, and most of all, trust your creative intuition. Let me know in the comments how your color journey's gone for you and what your favorite tip is. If you missed any part of this Crochet Color Play series or just want everything in one place, you can sign up to have all the videos sent straight to your inbox. Each day you'll receive a video and a bonus PDF with all the tips and color challenges in one place. 7 videos over 7 days. You can find the link to sign up for those below. Thanks so much for joining me this week. I've loved sharing this journey with you. If you want to keep diving deeper into color and creativity, come hang out with me on Patreon, where I share a lot of my behind the scenes stuff on color play, and we go deeper into all of these tips. Until next time, happy stitching.